Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag hashtag JD49, always the move to help boost the algorithm. Remember, we're trying to boost the algorithm so that more 49er fans, as they're in YouTube clicking through 49er content, that yours truly and the lovely Johnny Dell will come up and we can add them to the fold and talk through the whys and hows of the game. That is the Johnny Dell Football Academy. I am Adam Marino, of course. Yeah, boy. Excited for a Friday, excited to go through some film. I'm really excited about Alfred Collins for sure. Marquez Sigle as well. Johnny, how's it going? Happy Friday to you.
It's going well. We are having a good week. Busy week. My 8-year-old daughter had one of her softball games last night. She is the catcher, and they call her the brick wall back there because she doesn't let anything get past her. But I'm excited about today's episode. You know, I didn't know. I knew a little bit about Alfred Collins. I watched like one game of his before the draft. You guys know I dove into a bunch of other guys that I thought had maybe a little bit more athletic upside. And I just thought the 49ers were going to go for more, all around defensive tackle. And then as the draft progressed, at first I was kind of, Alfred Collins makes sense. He wasn't my guy at that point. I really wanted Darius Alexander, who ended up going 60th overall. I think it was 60th overall to the Giants. He went in the second round. And so I was, a little taken aback, I guess, in that I didn't think Omar Norman Lott was going to be the guy. He reminded me too much of just a more pass rusher. Player type was definitely more of like a Chris Jones. That's not saying that's who he would be. Of course, we would love Chris Jones on there. But I was just thinking, they wouldn't go to really one side. But as the draft kind of fell the way it did, you saw a very, very clear strategy on the defensive side of the ball, which is we are going to stop the run first and foremost, and actually really first, second, third, fourth, and fifth priorities. We are going to stop the run. And the Michael Williams pick, he was the best run edge defender in this draft class. That was really never in question, I think, by anybody, and definitely saw that. We've looked at the film on that. And then Alfred Collins, when I really dove into the tape, I went, okay. And having watched pretty much everybody else, I said, oh, okay, this kid is the premier run defender in this class. I don't think there's anybody in this class that defends the run as well as he does. I mean, maybe Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham was just more of the all-arounder who could do everything really well. But Alfred Collins, if we're talking just stopping the run, it'd be hard-pressed to say there was anyone better at that in this draft class.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the breakdown. If you are new to the channel or new to the chat, I know there's some new folks to the chat. this is going to be really good today as we go through the film breakdown, because Johnny also releases videos throughout the week, especially obviously during the season, film breakdown showing why the X's zig and the O's zag, things like that. But this, you're in for a treat because we're really going to break stuff down. Are we doing Alfred Collins first, Johnny?
Yeah, we're gonna have Alfred Collins first. He's the guy that I want to really dive in, and I think that there's more, don't knows about him. So
Sure.
he was a second round pick. There's don't knows and also second round pick. So what is going on with a pick this high? So Alfred Collins, he's right here, number 95, big old 95. A lot of what people had heard about him coming out of the draft. And I had talked about Alfred Collins with Rob yesterday. He was like, I all I've heard people say about Alfred Collins is he is a massive human being. And he is. He's like 334, 335, 6'1" or 6'2", I think. He is a big man. Maybe even 6'3". He is a big man. Like that is 100% true. But there's more. It's not just he's a good run defender because he's a big man. The Florida Gator kid was a massive human being, and he wasn't picked in the second round. He was like 435 pounds, something like that, coming out of the draft. It wasn't just about um, it wasn't just about that he was a massive human being. So we're going to see he understands playing against run schemes. He understands technique. He has really good lateral movement against the run, and he plays under control. I think that is an underrated thing. People talk about disruptors, and they talk about game wreckers, and they talk about guys who will destroy the point of attack. You love all that stuff, but what you don't love, and this was my issue with Walter Nolan all along, was that he would just do his own thing. He'd go rogue. He'd say, "I'm a game wrecker, and I'm going to go wreck the game," and that's great when it works. It's really bad when you don't affect the play in a positive way, like you wreck into the backfield and get the running back. You just run into the backfield and the running back's already out. And now you've left a linebacker out to dry. That's where I don't like that side of it. And so he really really shows a lot of that control. Just give me 1 sec. I need to respond on a message here.
So, reminder, as Marco C asks, he doesn't have Twitter. So how do you find out if you're going live or featuring on another channel? One good thing to do that I like to tell people is make sure the notification bell is clicked on for YouTube, because that way when Johnny,
as far as the other channels, that one is a little bit trickier. I try and keep everybody updated on this show of when it is, and but I'm not dual streaming with him, so that's on his channel, and that would be where if you don't want to subscribe on his, I totally understand. People have their own preferences, but we will be going every Thursday at noon. And then if there's other appearances, I try and announce it here. And I try and do some announcements on the YouTube side. It doesn't work always really well. Sometimes if you can have your notifications turned on for a channel and they post updates in the feed and it doesn't even come through. So I try on that. But Adam, your mic sounds much better now.
Okay.
I don't hear the background noise. So
okay,
sorry,
cool.
we were chatting back and forth here as we were trying to talk, trying to get Adam's mic figured out, because it was good right before he came on, and then he came on, and all of a sudden I was like, I can hear you typing. But anyways, we'll get to Alfred Collins here. He's right here, big man. This is a perfect example of that. They're going to run away from him, and these are the kind of blocks you see so much around the league now. This is wide zone. This tackle is going to try and reach block him. So he's got to get his head around onto the other side of Alfred Collins and seal him off from pursuing down the line. And one thing you see, he's got really quick feet for a guy his size. So he's going to can engage. And the first thing, and it's sneaky good here, is that offensive linemen are taught, if you can't beat this guy across his face, you take your arm and shove it under his armpit and drive him down the line. Now, it works a little bit differently when you're in this sort of a situation where you're trying to get him. So what they tell them to do otherwise is if you can't hook him, then get your arm underneath this armpit and try and leverage them up and work your feet around. That's what they're taught. And what we're going to see is one, the guard even tried to help out here, gave him a little shove. He still just works through it. And now these guys are fighting. And what you're going to see Alfred Collins do, you can see his hand right here. What he's doing is he's hooking the arm of the tackle. You can see it really close right there. He's grabbing that arm and hooking it so this tackle cannot work his way around. When you've hooked the arm, you're going to take that guy with you, and he can't work around you. It's a leverage point. When somebody has your arm hooked, you can't work your way around. So he's engaged his man. He's going to drive him down the line and run down the line. Now, a linebacker makes a good fill here. If the linebacker's not even there, Alfred Collins is there on this run. So this is one of those plays that will never, ever show up on the highlight reel, but sneaky good. Really like what he does here, because he's not just letting that tackle go and get to the next level and get to a linebacker. He's going to take him with him to the play. Quick thank you to Lisa coming in with the super chat. Says, I only watch because of you. Glad you're moving on up. We're always trying to move onwards and upwards. We appreciate you, Lisa. Saw you in the chat yesterday. Saw you with the super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate you a lot, Lisa. And so now we're going to move on. We're going to see them bring another movement block. So this is now Alfred Collins is going to be playing the nose tackle, and they're trying to get a movement block. This center is trying to scoop, and they're going to have a little help and get to the second level by the guard. That is Drew Moss, by the way, undrafted free agent of the 49ers, playing there at guard. And you're going to see, man, this kid's got some power.
Good Lord.
It happened so fast.
Yeah, slow it down, buddy.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just like to show one, like,
oh my gosh.
He grabs the center's just arm and just, that's the drill that they do a lot, defensive line drills of grab and extend to do exactly that, lift on the movement block. So Drew Moss isn't even able to get over to actually help. He's running into his own center. And he's going to then beat the center around, stay in his gap, and you get backside pursuit. I mean, this is keeping your linebacker clean, dominating the blocker, the blocker in front of you, and winning at the point of attack. Like, this is all of those things. The lateral movement, the power. I mean, impressive. Now, again, this is against Colorado State. We're not talking about a Division I school here, but what you're gonna see in the next couple games of clips that I show, he's going to do the same thing versus Division I teams. He plays with absolute control, but also incredible power. That is hard to find. So, and then he's got quick feet. Watch this little spin move. Look at him put a spin move on there, looking like a ballerina at 334 pounds. Let's watch it in there. Again, I just put this in there to highlight. Kid's got really quick feet. I mean, his feet are really good. So when you talk about special offensive linemen like Trent Williams because of his feet, that's what I see with Alfred Collins. Really special feet for his size. He's able to move them, keep his balance in front of him, keep his feet underneath him. It's not quite normal. So now we have him back here at nose tackle. We're going to see the same play that they just ran that we saw. They're going to bring this double team out here on a movement block, zone block. And again, he understands what teams are trying to do to him. So he understands that this center wants to scoop. If they can get the guard around, that's even greater, but they're going to try and reach on him. And one of these guys is going to try and get up to the second level. And so what does he do on this? He's going to engage. He's going to control the point, draw the double team. He is drawing that double team, holding up. And this isn't like he's getting driven out of the play. He's got to maintain a lane here, and he's going to stop once he gets to the movement because these guys are coming to fill. So his gap moves. That's what these movement blocks do. It's why it stresses. And they have everything in their lane. This linebacker right here should be filling. He gets a little greedy and he wonders if he needs to scrape over the top. Well, that's not your job. You have two other guys that are coming in. So he doesn't. Alfred Collins is holding it down, and then he gets held. That's a hold right there. And the linebacker, again, because he hesitated, can't get there. But that's not on Alfred Collins. Alfred Collins did his job, and he did what he was supposed to do. Sarkisian's going to probably chewed this linebacker out in the film room. You got to go fill your gap, man.
He
so
hesitated.
You can see. And one thing you see with Collins, you will see this all the time. He's going to engage, and he's going to dictate the terms, peak to where the running back is. And once he sees the running back commit, then he disengages and goes to make the tackle. You see it over and over again. He's very aware of what's going on. The awareness while engaged is top notch. And you're going to see that over and over again as we go through these clips, that he will engage, press, peak, and control everything. So he's back here as a 5 tech, really 4-eye inside the tackle. They're going to try and run a little double team here with the tight end and the tackle. And again, what we saw with the 49ers last year is when teams would bring these double teams on us, when offenses would do this, we had nobody that could hold up against the double teams. We were constantly getting pushed back into the linebackers. They were just double team, move our guy, and then get right up to the next level. You don't see that with Collins. And what you also see is that if teams try and disengage with him, he's going to go make the play because he stays under control. It's not like he's got to sit here and take this double team on and then work his way to slide across to get out from the double team, and they just drive him out of the play, and the running back comes. That's what we saw with Malik Collins last year. You don't see this with Alfred Collins at all. So here he is. One sinks his hips, anchors against the double team. He's going to sink it, and now this tackle's got a choice. He can either get up here on the linebacker, and then you're going to let Alfred Collins through. Or you can stay on Alfred Collins, and this linebacker's coming through clean. That's the choice the offense has. And he chooses to get up on the linebacker, and now, again, you have a hold. It's not called. This should be a tackle in the backfield. Gets his arms on him, but he makes the running back stop his feet, and it blows up the whole play. If you watch this play, this is all about Alfred Collins holding down the point of attack long enough for the linebackers to fill, making the running back stop his feet and go, because there's no way a tight end is going to block this kid. Again, control. In everything he does, he plays under control, and it's really fun to watch.
And that's Michigan. They got some big boys over there.
Yeah. I mean, this is, as Adam always likes to say,
who have you played?
That you haven't, this isn't the Corpus Christi Nuns. So thanks again, Lisa, coming in with another super chat. CJ West said yesterday that you can't miss Collins. He's a huge guy, and that it was at the airport when they arrived. Crazy. She's like, I'm only 5 foot tall. Yeah, Alfred Collins. I mean, he really is a huge man. They've got some good big linemen over there in Texas, but here he is going to be as a 4-eye on the other side, where he's going to do, it's called 1.5 gap here. It's a technique that we use with our 1 techs. So one thing you see with CJ West and Alfred Collins, they both can play 3 tech and they both can play 1 tech. And what do I mean by that? 3 technique is going to be outside shoulder of the guards, and you're going to use a little bit different techniques. And with that, and technique, I know that that's becoming now a little bit of a convoluted term. I should say your technical aspects of what you do playing as a 3 technique is a little bit different. As a 1 technique, where you're outside shoulder of the center, you are going to be using a little bit different moves and footwork and some rules of play. It's just a little bit different, I think is the best way I'm trying to describe it without saying the word techniques, so it's not convoluted here. But when we do a lot of 1 technique, a lot of times they're asked to 1.5 gap, and what that's going to be is that they will then be assigned a gap, and then they have to control their man into half of another gap. And so they're going to 1.5 gap. They need to turn their man, to work their man into at least half a gap, to condense the other gap and hold down theirs. And this is exactly what you're going to see. They're trying to get a movement block on him. One, the center isn't able, or the tackle is not able to get his head around. He's able to get enough movement and forward movement and drive off the ball to, he engages. Pad level's great. You can see he's probably taller or as tall as this tackle. His shoulder pads are lower. He's won by leverage. And now you're going to see him just toss this guy over into his gap and squeeze the gap down. And when we talk about this kid has some serious power, watch him use this leverage, get underneath the pad, and toss this left tackle into the gap. This is 1.5 gapping to perfection. And then drive his man in there. So this is what we talk about, 1.5 gap. Squeeze your man down, you maintain your gap. That is absolutely fantastic against a very good left tackle. And I mean, like I said, this is Michigan. So, again, he's not going to get probably on the stat sheet on this, but really nice play here. Things that just show up. Michigan did not run at him very much at all. Like, they ran away from him a lot. They tried to avoid going at Alfred Collins. So that should also tell you a lot. He's going to be here. We're going to see him go against this guard, and you're just going to see him again. The control that he has is,
he's like toying with him a little bit until he sees where the running back goes.
It's control and it's coaching. Like they tell these guys, engage, keep your leverage, keep your technique in there, press your man, and then read. They don't want you just flying through back. Like, read where it peak and see where the running back is. And so you see that he's going to engage again. Look at the power to press underneath. The pad level is great. Wide feet. He's got a good base. And then he's going to peak. Where's the running back? And once he sees where the running back is, then he's going to disengage and go. And the running back's committed.
You can literally see him peak.
Yeah, you see this over and over again.
Like the helmet.
He will peak, and he just makes sure that he's there. And then he's going to be here, and they're going to end up coming with a double team on him. And here the left tackle and the left guard, they're going to double down. He's again sinks his hips. He holds up against the double team, and this play ends up going for a touchdown for Georgia. This is not on Alfred Collins at all. This is some serious backside problems with the nickel here. That again, Sarkisian probably chewed his rear end out, but they're trying to run right through here. This is where this play is the initial attack point is. They're trying to go after that. And again, he is anchored in. He knows this guy wants to go get a linebacker, and you can see him grab. He's grabbing in right here. He's occupying this double team. He is holding this guy. You can see the guy's wanting to go get a linebacker. He can't do it. He's being held up. Alfred Collins holding up the point attack, holding up against the double team. Really good stuff here. Again, they have some backside issues. 3 just vacated his thing. They didn't get enough end support. So this goes for a touchdown, but Alfred Collins did what he was supposed to do. This is why the film is so important. It's not just how that may have been a big run for Georgia, but Alfred Collins did exactly what he was supposed to do, and it's still very impressive what he did. And then we're going to see him here on a straight up 5 technique on the tackle, and this is taking a man's soul. So I'm going to play it here in full speed. Again, we're watching right here. I'm just going to let this play.
Gosh.
That is getting ragdolled. I mean, absolutely. I talked about this same technique with CJ West, the butt rip. So it's drive your face mask into the chest of the other guy, press him up, and then throw him and pull the rip. This is, I mean, my goodness. This is not Colorado State. This is Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And again,
come on.
the control. Watch where his helmet is. He is watching the running back. He's reading this play. Once it's a commit to a run play, that's when he disengages and goes. And again, he didn't get the credit on that play. Like somebody else got the tackle because the running back spins on here, and they get him another guy. He ends up right in his arms, but Alfred Collins knows he just absolutely dominated that guy. The picture that I have on the thumbnail was taken from the other side on that play. So yeah, he's got some power. And then here he is again. He's going to have an engagement with this center. Okay. A lot of people wanted us to draft Georgia's center. This is a kid that went to the NFL. This is, premier college offensive line talent. Watch what he does here. Let me run it at full speed. Excuse me. This was the left guard. I have a different one on here. I have it as toss the center, but he tossed the guard. So sorry. I apologize for that. I got all excited, but he's going to toss this guy out of here in the same way. Engage and then throw him and stops the running back. So it's again the control. So you see 53 is going to engage. Okay, he presses. He's going to throw, keep his eyes towards the running back, just throw the kid down, and then the running back says, "Oh crap." And he gets out of there. Again, there's other issues there. They didn't have enough containment. And it's still about only a 5-yard play, but I mean, you see just dominance in the run game. This is over and over again. Now, this was the play I meant to say against the center. So this is, again, one of the better centers out of college, Georgia center. And you're going to see the same thing, the control. Look at him, engage, press, and peek.
Yeah.
He is controlled. He is dictating the terms of the engagement. He is reading where the running back is. And once the running back commits, then he goes to make the tackle. He's making sure that this running back is going to be coming off that side before he goes. Now, understand, too, that he does this as well as anybody while maintaining the line of scrimmage. The ball is here. Okay, let's watch where the engagement happens. He's dictated the engagement. They're there. The line of scrimmage has not changed while he's moving laterally down the line. That's not the same on the backside. But this is what they want guys to do. Defenses want this line of scrimmage to stay unchanged, dictate the engagement, peek, read, and go get it. And so this is only about a 3-yard gain. You're okay with that. You're going to live with that.
Yeah.
On this kind of a play. So, again, plays with so much control, so much power. It's like you don't see him having to really work a ton. Like he obviously works hard, but it doesn't look like it's a struggle for him every single play. And then we're going to see here at the goal line, Georgia wants to run this ball right off of behind their left guard. So they're going to double team down with the tackle and the guard on Alfred Collins. They're trying to run this right behind their left guard. Excuse me, it's the center in the left guard. They're going to come down. He's going to come in here and watch him anchor against this double team. Get in here, stand them both up, and he says, "I will not be moved." And they are trying to run this there. I mean, this is a dive play. It's just a dive play right in here. And he's going to hold up the point of attack, compress it, and the running back has nowhere to go. He can't get in there. Georgia, you're on the 1-yard line. You can't get into the end zone. They did not score on this trip down there. Twice. They ran a quarterback sneak right after that. Right at Alfred Collins, and he dove in under the pile, and they made a big giant pile, and it didn't work. I mean, big old man that anchors. And the last thing we're going to see is we're going to see him here as a 3 technique, something that he will play a lot with the 49ers. Watch him anchor against the double team. Again, same thing. Here's the double team, sinks the hips, wide base. They want to get this guard up to the next level on Paul, and they can't do it. Why? Because he understands they want to do that. He's engaged the guard. He is engaging the guard. The tackle wants to block him. He's engaged the guard so that he draws the double team. He is purposefully taking on that double team. Again, they get out of there. That's not on Alfred Collins. He did his job. We did not see this nearly enough last year. You can see part of the reason they have on the other side. It's not holding up as well on the other side. That is two very different looks here of how guys are holding up against the double team.
Right. Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, that tells you who Alfred Collins is, and he still almost makes the tackle. Really exciting kid to watch. You see it and you go, okay, I understand why they invested a lot of draft capital in him. This is the premier interior run defender in this class. They saw what happened last year and they said this will not happen. And I like what Technician says. For anybody who didn't catch it, I'll see if I can pull it up on my X account, because I actually, AI is getting scary what AI can do anymore, because I did a little Robert Saleh You Shall Not Pass mashup here, and again, it's scary how real it looks, that what is happening with AI. But as I'm scrolling and grabbing that, I'll let Adam get in here 1 sec so I can also get a drink coffee.
So perfect opportunity for me to remind you, we talked a little bit earlier about making sure that you click the notification bell. I did, again, here in Indiana, ran into another 49ers fan over the last couple days, immediately asked them if they had their phone so that they could jump on the channel. And there you see Robert Saleh. You shall not pass. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you,
changing.
AI is scary now, like with the things that they can do, and how real that looks. So,
ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, a really good ridiculous channel for you guys to follow is Sports Idiot Nation. If you enjoy basketball and appreciate what Greg Popovich has done for our sport of basketball, definitely need to tune into yesterday's episode as Miles and I just talk and give our salute to Greg Popovich, because as Warrior fans, we appreciate what Popovich did for Steve Kerr and why we have a dynasty in the Bay Area, faithful to the Bay, of course. So check out Sports Idiot Nation. I have a question to ask now, Johnny, about some of this film and some of the guys that we've gone over, that I want to ask you before we get into our next film breakdown. And that is regarding CJ West and Alfred Collins. What I want to know is, I assume that the idea is that both of these game wreckers are side by side. Now, what I want to ask you is there any mode of thinking where you don't think it would go down that way, and why?
No, I mean, the only thing I think that would change that is injuries. I mean, just quite frank.
Hate to say that.
I think CJ West is Alfred Collins as penciled in as your 3 tech. Like that's who you're penciling him in. You're saying, okay, this is going to be our strong side, defensive tackle, day one. CJ West is going to compete with Jordan Elliott. Jordan Elliott's still here, and they're both more of that one tech kind of guy, nose tackle. And so he's going to be competing there. I think CJ West definitely brings more pass rush potential than Jordan Elliott does. And so, there's things there. I think what the plan will be currently, and then mini camps, OTAs, and training camp is going to determine what actually happens here, is that base downs, any sort of rundown where run is at least a 50% possibility, you're going to see CJ West, Alfred Collins, Michael Williams, Nick Bosa on the field. When it gets to third down, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, assuming you've earned that right, then you're going to see probably what I envision is you're going to have Nick Bosa, you're going to have maybe Sam O, maybe Michael Williams inside, and Robert Beal outside. That's what I just envision right now. A lot of multiple stuff there. Athletic guys who can move, who can all run stunts, all run twists and everything. You might throw a CJ West in there to bull rush. You might throw an Alfred Collins in there. They're limited in their pass rush moves. It's bull, like we saw with CJ West. There's bull rush, and that's about it. Not saying it's bad. He's got a phenomenal bull rush, a lot of pressures in college. So that's where I see that is I think his clearest path right now is going to be as a rotational piece on base downs, and then as somebody who can bring that ability to press the pocket into and then move. He ran a 4.95 40 to be able to move on third downs and be able to do some of those stunts and stuff. Maybe he's got to refine the technique, but that's how I see things right now.
Don't sweat the technique. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I definitely know that you have a kind of a more of an understanding than I do, and I just was envisioning the same. Okay, so who do we have now?
So now we have Marquez Sigle, right? This was a pick that I think has really caused some controversy. Again, this is though a 5th round pick. He was 160th selection. I think the hard thing is that in this draft, when it felt like there was still another 30, solid year 2 starters on the board, it felt like this was basically a pure physicals reach. Well, Marquez Sigle here, he's going to come from a high safety. The biggest thing that I saw from him is he is much more of a slot player than an actual safety. He probably played 3/4 of his snaps at slot, and most of those was playing man coverage. Kansas State ran a lot of man coverage. And so he's not necessarily this prototypical safety. I know he was drafted as a safety, but definitely not a prototypical safety. Super fast, 4.3 740, long arms, long legs, and that length combined with the speed really reminds you of Tarvarius Moore. Tarvarius Moore was a versatile defensive back that came out, long arms, long legs, ran like a 4.3 340. That they started him out as an outside corner and then moved him to safety, and he ended up as this kind of hybrid safety thing. And it just reminds you of the same thing. I think they want him to have a higher ceiling, but some of the traits that do concern me are the same issues we saw with Tarvarius Moore. So I don't know if there's a coach, coaches are very involved with the evaluation. I don't know if they're seeing some of the same, falling in love with some of the same traits and overlooking some of the same things. But here we're going to see him from the deep high. And this is what you do like. Is that when he sees it, he's not afraid to go and bring some physicality on a fit. So he's coming from a deep help here. So he's supposed to be over and doubling this receiver. Okay, so that's his primary responsibility. He's going to read run. And once he sees it, he's got to go make an open field tackle against a bigger running back, a guy that's probably got 20 pounds on him. And there's no hesitation in the fit. Great physical fit there. Here's another one. Down by the goal line. Okay, they're going to try and bluff him over inside, and then late he's going to bail out, and he's got to go into a deep half safety zone. So they're going to end up dropping this into cover 2 zone. They're trying to disguise this, and so he's going to bail out late, but the offense ends up coming with a run, so he's got to then reverse course from his deep bail. As you see him here, he's got gone into a deep bail. Now he reads run, and he's got to come and fill up here because they get no outside contain. And so this is at the goal line. A guy that's bigger than him. He's got to come in and make a tackle, and he stops the guy short of the goal line. He actually did stop him right there, just short of the goal line. This is a tough fill for him. I mean, you can see him back out, way out of the picture, and then he's going to come flying in. So that's what I like, is that he's not afraid to bring bring the physicality when he fits on the run. Now, what I don't like is that sometimes there is some poor technique and fundamentals in how to play certain coverages when he's in man. So here they're in a cover 2 man. Okay, so these safeties are going to be deep halves, and then you have man coverage across the board. This is how you run it. And what they teach these guys when you're in cover 2 man, and you can see it from the corner at the bottom, he is inside shoulder of this receiver. They want to funnel receivers outside and deep because that's where your help is going to be. So again, this guy, you can see he's inside technique. They want to funnel everybody outside and deep. Where you don't want to let anybody do is you don't want to give up inside leverage because you have no help over the middle of the field. So that's where we see some of these mistakes happen. And you're going to see here, he's working out. He gives up inside leverage. Big no-no right there. And then he panics off of it. He tries to overcorrect, and now he's cooked. And again, this if the quarterback throws this down into the middle of the field, the safety over here is kind of squatted because this route stopped. But again, you don't have a way to know that. You have completely given up the middle of the field, and you're behind your guy out of phase. That's not a good rep. That's something it didn't burn you this time, but it's not a good rep. They're going to see that. And then the same issue that caused that is the same thing you're going to see here. And we're going to see this a number of times. One thing I really don't like is that he will stop his feet about 3 to 4 steps in a back pedal. So he's going to back pedal and then he's going to squat as to drive on underneath throws, which is great. And you're going to see him cover some underneath stuff really well. The problem is this leaves you very susceptible to getting beat over the top when you stop your feet like this. So again, we're going to see it. He was beat there. The curl route ends up, again, because he's playing the shorter stuff, it ends up being taken away. We're going to see that. See the feet stop. He stops and he tries to make contact. And then he's got to restart. And then the curl's there. So he's all over the curl. Looks great. Okay, this is another one of those situations where I think sometimes lack of failure doesn't equal success. And so here he is in the slot. We're going to see, again, same thing. He's going to backpedal, stop his feet. Then he squats. And this receiver just runs right by him. Okay, again, he doesn't get targeted, but here's the issue. They're in cover 1 man, so they have a deep safety here. This is a verticals concept. They're running 4 verts, which is not great against cover 1 man. But against cover 1 man, a lot of times what we see in the NFL, and we've run this, other teams run this all the time. Brandon Ayuk caught a touchdown pass on this play against the Buccaneers. It was like a 74-yard touchdown pass. It's called Haas. So it's hitches outside and seam. Haas is run by about everybody. It's an old air raid play. So what you do, is you run a hitch on the outside and you run a seam, go, fade. And against cover 1, because you're going to have a safety coming, you're going to get this corner to squat. And if this guy gets beat, then you throw that ball out and away from the safety. And just like we saw Brandon Ayuk, he got a 74-yard touchdown off of it, or maybe 84. It was super long. That it is not good news. And when you see a guy squatting and then he's beat, okay, imagine this corner is squatted. Now you have all this green grass to go throw that ball because you have been beat. Not just a little bit, you are beat.
Not just a little bit.
No, and they throw it to the outside guy, and he still ends up making the catch there on their corner. So you see this over and over again. Stops his feet, and I don't like that. Now, what you do see is that when he keeps things going, really smooth. So he's going to cover this quick out. So this is what's called a speed cut. It's not a come up 90 degrees and go. It's a speed cut. So it's a rounded off cut. They do this they want guys to keep their speed. This is the old Ohio or Tony concept that we run all the time. Really tough for this guy to play in man coverage. That's usually a win. You're going to see he reads it. And this is where those feet, once he gets going, he's going to burst and drive on this route. And it's taken away the whole way. They're looking to the other side, but it wasn't there. And you see the hips are smooth. Watch his hips through the transition, that he's able to swivel those hips and go to engage.
Boom.
I mean, just to
Yeah,
turn and go. It's
that is
really
quick.
smooth hips. So you see the physical attributes are there. The physical measurables are there. It's the other stuff that just starts to bug me. There's some poor tackling angles. So he's right here in the slot, and you're just going to see this is not a good tackling angle at all. There's not much to say about this.
Oh, man. Olay.
Yeah, you're going to see it from the other angle.
Oh, I don't want to see it from that other angle. That's going to be bad.
So he's right here.
Oh, gosh. Deer in headlights? And yes. Oh, God. Oh.
So
Was
you
he-
and you see this. He takes some poor angles. Now where his biggest strength, I think, is his ability, when he can attack the underneath stuff, he's really understands what he's supposed to do. So this is a play that we should really recognize. It's called sprint option. The catch to Dwight Clark. This is the same play. The one reran at that point was sprint right option. This is sprint left option. So right goes right, sprint left option goes left. So what they're gonna do is, first, he's assigned to cover the number 2 receiver in man coverage. Pre-snap, that's the slot receiver. They're gonna bring a tight end in motion and release him out into the flat. That means your original number 2 is going to become your new number 3, and your original number 3 is going to become your new number 2. So he's got to swap assignments on here. And with this sprint option, you get a flat out here. You're going to get an out route, and then, or excuse me, this one's going to come in as an out route, and I think he runs something over the middle. But what you're going to get is this is going to create traffic for him to work through to get to that. And the read on this play is number 1 to the flat. It's going to be number 2 to the out. And then the quarterback is number 3 on a run. So that's the progression for the quarterback. And you're going to see, once this motion, you can see him communicating the handoff here of who's going to go where. So he understands that. He's going to end up reading it, and he's going to work underneath his guy, over the top of the other guy, of the offensive player, and he's going to work to the flat. And so he's able to drive on that. You can see the quarterback wants to go there, but he can't because it's taken away. And so the quarterback then holds it. He had number 2 open, but the pressure gets there, and so he ends up bailing out to the other side. So we'll run it in slow-mo again so we can see exactly how. I really like what he does here. This is really good. Really like this, to see it recognize the post snap, sift through the traffic, and then go and drive on the primary and take it away, and end up causing this play, to be broken like it is. That was all on Siegel. Love that. Really love that. One of the comments I've seen is that he's a little slow in recognition, and it's plays like this. They don't happen a lot, but every once in a while he's going to go to be bailing. Just watch how long he stays in this back pedal. This is a run play. He's backpedaling for like 8 steps through the snap before he recognizes, and then the fill. There's not a lot of urgency. Sometimes you see things like that. He just kind of, he's not that constantly trying to get in there all the time. When he needs to, he does, but he's not the guy that's just I'm gonna be a missile every play.
Malik Mustafa.
And then here you're going to see him from safety. Again, not a great angle here. He makes a tackle by a shoestring. So we're going to see it. I don't love the angle. Now, okay.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was right there.
Got the job done.
Yeah. Now, again, though, what I do like is that when he comes to fill, he comes to fill. And so he's going to come up and make a nice physical tackle.
Okay.
So, you like it. He's a very much a mixed bag of film. Like there's a lot of clips here because it's a very, very mixed bag, which though you expect from a 5th round pick, from the 160th pick in the draft, it's not going to be a home run. It's not going to be all, rose colored glasses and just be every clip is good. There's going to be bad. There's going to be not so bad. The bugaboo that I've been talking about, though, of stopping his feet, you're going to see it here. This is where it really hurts you. Watch him stop his feet, and then you're beat for a touchdown.
Well, plus he slips.
Well, that's what causes him to slip, is he stops his feet.
Yeah.
He stops his feet, and he's trying to restart himself.
Catch back
so
up.
He's getting down, and then he's trying to squat.
Right there. He's beat. He's already beat right there.
Squat, and then he's trying to take back off, and that's what causes him to trip, and he was beat anyways.
Yeah.
It leaves you really susceptible to these double moves when you are stopping your feet and getting really aggressive on all this underneath stuff. And that's exactly what happens. It's just an out and up. And so, you see this stuff. When you see the same problem popping up over and over again, it does make you a little concerned. Here he is. He's going to come on a blitz, though. I do like, again, versatility. You can use him in a number of ways. He's got a good feel for getting through on the blitz. We'll see it from the other angle, even better. So watch him navigate through this traffic. So he's right here, number 21. Watch him navigate through here. He's going to fill through, sift right through, and flush that quarterback. So he understands his lanes. He has the shiftiness and the change of direction to keep on the run and move. So like that, you can use him in blitz packages. And then, though, again, you're going to see stops his feet. He's up here on the slot, man coverage. He's going to come up, stop his feet, and he gets beat and flagged. So the amount of times that you see him come up here, stop his feet, and a guy then works over the top is concerning, because he's going to come up, stop his feet, and then he realizes, oh man, I got beat, and he panics and grabs, but he doesn't even grab effectively enough. So he's beat by a wide margin, and the hanky's coming out. Let's draw this in. He's going to land it somewhere in here. It's a great throwing technique by the referee. I like how his front foot is pointed towards the target. Arms a good arm slot. Way to go, referee. Nice toss. That's a college caliber toss right there. Yeah.
Anyway.
But when he keeps his feet moving, he can stay with anyone. So here he is going to be in the slot. He's not going to stop his feet now. Watch this play. They're going to run a deep vertical here. And watch him run with this guy. I mean, he's all over it. Right in his hip pocket. Right there. If this ball's thrown out here, he's going to go pick that off. That's super tight coverage. I love that. I mean, he's supposed to be playing with some safety help, so underneath, but the closing speed, like his ability to run, is he can run with anyone. So like that's what you really like. He's got the traits that you can't teach. We're going to see him fill here from a 4 spot. I'm actually okay with the angle here because he's a force defender. So he's got to come up, and he's supposed to be the last man between the running back and the sideline, because this guy's in man coverage. So they can run him off. So he's got to come up and be the force defender, be the last man to force it back inside. So he does a good job first. You can see the little angle. Hesitation there. Mm-hmm.
But the angle's good because
he's dropping down for the force. The running back's going to cut up inside, and then he comes out and he goes and makes a tackle. I'm perfectly fine with that. I like that. He's not abandoning his responsibility. I don't like this. He's going to be out here in the slot. They're going to run a little screen pass out here. He's going to try and slip inside this block. He needs to slip outside this block, force it back inside. But they're going to run this, and he goes inside. And now, again, you're the force guy. You're going to give up the outside. Can't have that. So, can't have that kind of stuff. What you do see, though, is, again, the traits that you can't teach, that his closing speed is really good. So he's going to be here at deep safety. So it's watch him do this play. This is going to be a broken play and a little ad lib here. And then the receiver is going to come back to the ball. He's going to come and beat this receiver to the spot, get his arm around, use the length, and break up this pass. So the closing speed takes off. Like his breaking speed, top notch. The ability to not play through the receiver, to play around the receiver, have the length to get around him and break that pass up. Really good stuff there. Again, those are the traits you can't teach, that you either have them or you don't. Again, there's a lot of stuff on here. It's a very much a mixed bag. Now, though, what I do like is this is later in the game. He's right here. So we saw earlier he took an inside route on a swing pass here, a little screen. Now they're going to run the same thing. Watch him here. He's going to say, okay, now, why didn't it pause? He's going to say, now I'm going to fill outside. Now he's cutting him off outside and he's forcing him back inside to his help. I like that. I like it. You showed you could learn throughout the game. I like that. Now his buddy here stumbles and turf monster got him. So he can't make the tackle. But I like what Siegel does. He does his job. He comes up, forces it back inside. And the turf monster gets him. Turf monster gets him. The biggest trait, though, I think he has, and is that his best attribute is man coverage on tight ends. That's where he's best. He's going to be right here, and it's because of the speed, because of the length, because of the long legs, and his willingness to be physical. All of those things combine to where when I watch him against tight ends, that is his money zone, is to be able to man coverage tight ends. So you're going to see this tight end is going to try and press him off. Doesn't phase him. He's able to stay right with him. Again, this tight end is not even hardly running a route. He's trying to come in here and just blow him off with a press and then run an out route. Again, he's able to be physical, use that length. I mean, he just blasts him. Again, maintains his balance. It's right there in his hip pocket. If this ball is thrown out here, that's where the quarterback wants to go with the ball. If it's thrown out there, then he's just going to undercut that, and it's a pick six, and it's gone. So, really like what we see from him covering tight ends. Just that is where his bread and butter is going to be. I don't remember him getting beat by a tight end in any of the clips I watched. He's a matchup nightmare for tight ends. And we'll leave it on, I guess, a negative note. Sometimes you see this just poor angles on runs. He's got some help with pursuit from him, but he just comes too far inside on this run. And now he's trying to change direction and chase him down. And slow him down a little bit.
He's like, that running back is faster than I thought.
Yeah. And that's what we mean about poor angles, is it's poor judge of how fast somebody is. So,
poor judgment was shown.
In that, those are what were the things that drove us nuts about Tarvarius Moore? Took poor angles. I remember it was, trying to remember the receiver it was. I think it was maybe Smith-Schuster. When we played the Steelers in 2019, I think it was 2019, Jimmy Ward was hurt. Tarvarius Moore came in. They ran a little slant, little short post over the middle. Tarvarius Moore took a horrible angle, and it was 70-yard touchdown. It was 2019. It was the game that I think Jimmy threw 3 picks, but we still won. He threw a touchdown pass to Dante Pettis at the very end of the game as a stick concept. How I remember those details about that game, I have no idea. But anyways, it was in that game, and Tarvarius Moore took a really bad angle, and it was gone. So that's the stuff that worries me. Say, okay, if he's put there, are we going to see these poor angles? Are we going to see things like that? And at the NFL level, those will really, really cost you. So yeah, but he's got the traits you can't teach. He's got fluid hips. There are some concerns. I don't see him as a year one starter. I don't. This is definitely probably going to be at least a year 2 or year 3 starter, I think, as he's got to retrain the feet in his technique, in his dropbacks and stuff. If he's pressed into service, there's going to be growing pains. There's just going to be growing pains.
Yeah, and with a 5th round pick, you are okay with it. So, yeah, really, really, really good breakdown today. As Boats says, checks in and says loves the breakdown. I love it too. I have a front row seat kind of to talk through some of the stuff and ask questions. Yeah, as Technic Chick says, 5 turnovers in that game and they still won.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I remember one of the picks was a screen pass that bounced out of Matt Breida's hands. And then I think we had was a use check fumbled. Somebody fumbled in there. I think Debo fumbled. Yeah, that was a wild game.
Yeah. So, okay, basically, let's run through. Do you have film that you're thinking about for next week?
Possibly. I've got to reach out and get some more
Some
tape.
games? Yeah.
Yeah, and get some more games to go through. I'm still trying to just I haven't finished everybody's film. Like there's not a single prospect I've watched every single one of their games. There's still at least like 1 game or 2 games left for most of these guys. I need to get into the running back from Oregon. Haven't watched any. There's just gonna be a lot of film to go through on that one. So over the weekend, probably not by Monday. We'll probably jump back in and talk a little bit about some of the contract looming situations. Brock Purdy is still not signed to a contract. Plus, we're going to get the rookie mini camp this week, and we're going to hear some stuff, and there might be some roster changes after that. So we're gonna just react to everything on there. And plus, though, my daughter has a softball tournament Saturday in another town. So
Nice.
yeah, so I'm pretty much booked up for the weekend. Not a lot of time for the film studies because a show like this, all that film study represents about 15 to 20 hours of work.
Nice. Speaking of booked, I just got a text from my friend. She is a Detroit fan, all things Detroit Tigers, and I just booked my ticket to Detroit, May 28th. Your San Francisco Giants will be taking on the Detroit Tigers in Detroit, and I will be in attendance. I'll take lots of pictures for the faithful. Detroit's a great spot to catch a baseball game. Not as nice as having garlic fries in the Bay Area. However, Detroit is very cool. I'm excited to see the Giants. Just
Garlic
found
fries.
out. Oh, in the Bay? Oh man.
No, see, I don't think of garlic fries as being something in the Bay. I'm
Gilroy.
see, I'm more think of the sourdough bread. I mean, look, I bake sourdough, but I mean,
Yeah,
San
but
Francisco
when you
sourdough is legendary. When I
yes,
went
but
there, I had clam chowder in a San Francisco sourdough bread bowl.
guys, get on the chat, please. Giants fans, please tell Johnny that it is all about the Gilroy garlic fries. Someone, please, someone is faithful to the Bay. Please, someone. Tell me.
They're gonna leave you hanging there, Adam. They're gonna be like,
Oh my gosh.
nah.
No. Someone is a Giants fan in this chat. And that does bring up another good point, the schedule drop. I'm excited to talk through that because quiffle ball. Okay. Quiffle ball, I can always count on. The garlic fries at Oracle Park are like the signature. So I
Okay, so
told you.
I guess I
told
have to be
you.
honest. I've never been to Oracle Park.
Okay, then you
I've
cannot
never been
speak
to a
on
San
it.
Francisco Giants fan.
Yes.
I'm not a San Francisco Giants fan. Like I watched a few of their games at one point. My mom
And I
was
know you're
all
not a
about
baseball guy. I know
well, okay. So
as much.
in all fairness, I'm a 49ers fan because of my mom. She grew up in the Bay Area for some reason. And I still have been able to figure out why. We were a Braves family growing up. So it was all about the Atlanta Braves.
And they
Like
were
I remember
good.
watching the 94, 95 championship games, all of that, Chipper Jones and growing up with that.
Yeah.
So like I was not a San Francisco Giants guy. So I can't.
Yeah. And you're a
And you're
Trailblazer
getting some
guy.
back. And I was a Trailblazer guy because I grew up in Oregon. I went to a lot of games at the Rose Garden. Now it's the Moda Center, but went to a lot of games at the Rose Garden. So we didn't like the Rose Garden didn't really have a signature dish, sort of thing. It wasn't like you had this was where it was at. But even Lisa, she's giving you the backup here. Garlic fries, not into baseball though. Gilroy. Okay.
I'm
all right.
faithful to the Bay. Faithful
will,
to the Bay.
I will admit when I maybe am off target and off base.
All right.
On this, I was not accurate about the sourdough and not the garlic fries.
San Jose, baby.
I tip my cap to you, Mr. Adam Marino. The garlic fries are where they at, or where
408, the 408 representing San Jose, east side, close to the East Bay. So yeah, I just want to say I am totally excited to go to Detroit later this month, catch an afternoon game, catch the Giants. They're playing extremely well.
You gonna have some of Mom's spaghetti?
Yeah, there's some cool places in Detroit to eat. I'll tell you that. Yeah, there's there, and it's very like falafel and like Greek town, and just Detroit is a very, very cool city, man. It's not as bad as it was as far as like being the scared factor, kind of like Oakland. It's like that, like, oh, why would you go to Oakland? You know what I mean? It is that way.
Yeah.
So Collator says I need to bring the garlic fries
film study.
Dude.
Yeah, you need to have a video of how they're making it. Just break it down, right amount of time in the fryer, exactly what ratio of salt to garlic in there. Like, yeah.
I love how the chat is like still with us and like, wait, I thought this was about football. Like they're plugged in. Like I kind of love that as we end the show. Because I just got that text that $34 is my ticket, and
all right,
I'm super excited. Love baseball. So all right, be sure to check out Sports Idiot Nation again. A tribute to Greg Popovich. Was very fun to do with my guy Miles. You'll see why he has underwear on his head. That's all I'm gonna say. You'll see why. He lost the bet, and you'll have to check out the show. That was from yesterday. Be sure to hit the notification bell. Thanks to all our subscribers on JFA 49. Johnny, tell a little bit about that before we get out of here.
Yeah, just real quick. I know we're wrapping up here, but thank you so much to all the members of JFA49.com. You are really like it is your direct support that is really producing this content. It's allowing the hours to be put into it away from the screen and or at least away from the camera. And so thank you so much for your direct support. I know it hasn't been as much of the members exclusive, but you are really adding so much value to this channel and make our off-season content and the film breakdowns and going through all the prospects before the draft and now going through them all of them after the draft. You make it possible. And so thank you so much. So much. We thank you. You can become a member as well at JFA49.com if you would like to continue supporting content just like this. Maybe not about the garlic fries, but the film study.
But maybe not.
Okay.
Just saying. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will hang out with you Monday. So in the meantime, in between time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, go Niners.